afternoon. The record should reflect that behind every successful woman is a tribe of successful women who have her back. This year's International Celebration of Women, their theme, nevertheless, she persisted. And the other comment I should say comes from the words of Angela Davis. And if we know our history, we know the impact she made on behalf of citizens, wherein she said, I am no longer accepting the things I cannot change. I'm changing the things I cannot accept. And so today, on behalf of the women of the City of Philadelphia City Council, all of whom you will hear from, we come to you on the occasion of the International Women's Day celebration, and we are thankful and grateful for the passage of our bill, unprecedented in nature, which now mandates sexual harassment training for all city employees. The passage of this bill is one of several strategic steps towards progress on behalf of women and girls, and we're leaning on all the voters in the city of Philadelphia to vote yes on this ballot question. Now let me play the broken record. Sexual harassment in the workplace is a widespread, intergenerational, and complex epidemic that has been unrightfully endured by women employees for far too long. In pressing for gender parity and working towards equality, we must overcome and be a participant in society's history as it relates to rape culture and sexist policies that exist in the workplace. While we cannot cure the societal issues surrounding sexual harassment by mandating sexual harassment training alone, this is a concrete step that's long overdue. Together, we must work to spread awareness of what constitutes sexual harassment, what it looks like, how to identify it, including those gray areas that lead to uncomfortable working dynamics. We must work together to facilitate a workplace where civility is encouraged, where a woman's work product is the measurement and not her gender. We must do our part if we want to hashtag press for progress. Today I am encouraged. I'm encouraged when I think about the great achievements of women across our city and how far we have come, and I am so certain each one of the women on City Council can speak to a number of women that have helped shape who they are today. I am encouraged when I think about my fellow women City Council colleagues fighting in their districts and citizens at large on behalf of women, children, and families. I am encouraged when I see the work of the Philadelphia Commission for Women, created by this council to more directly address the needs and inequalities of all women across our city, irregardless of race, age, class, socioeconomic background, or identity. My heart was happy and thrilled from last weekend's first ever girls rally that gathered on Philadelphia City Hall, where we celebrated 4 dynamic women. To look in the eyes of those girls, the hopefulness of those girls was priceless. I am encouraged when I think about the newer intersectional feminist movements forming that have corrected errors of the past and now address the needs of all women, not just women of a certain stature or background. When I think about the women across the globe celebrating the progress of girls in our families, we have much to celebrate, but we have still so very much to do. Consider this fact. When I came to City Council in year 2000, women made 77 cents to $1. 15 years later, women make 79 cents to $1. Black women and women of color make 69 cents to $1. So if we continue at that pace, my 21-year-old daughter will be 70 years old before women are making $1 to $1. That's unacceptable. On this day, the International Celebration of Women, we need to take a moment to continue to challenge the gender stereotypes and biases. We need to be thankful as we celebrate women who every day are on the front line trying to make an impressive difference in our lives. And now we'll ask each one of the members, the women members of the Philadelphia City Council, to have a few words. And we want to say thank you to the enlightened men among us who get it and are able to stand up and face it when they see that sexual harassment is being done. To my colleagues. The sequence is, we're actually going to go in, that's right, Seniority, Councilwoman Janie Blackwell.
Thank you. Good morning. As always, I first thank the Creator for this day and the privilege of being with my colleagues and all of you today. We want to thank Councilwoman Blondell Reynolds Brown for her leadership on this issue. There's not one of us who doesn't know someone affected, if not ourselves, our families, our neighborhoods, our friends, who's been affected by this issue, whether or not we've talked about it. We thank her for bringing the whole idea of certainly even earning power that we do not have. And we thank her for always honoring young women who are on their way up. As long as we work together, which we do, and we're just proud we have the opportunity to move forward with support from our men in council to make a difference and attempt to move forward. Thank you again, Councilwoman, and thank you all for being here.
Good afternoon, and thank all of you. I also want to thank Councilwoman Blondell Reynolds Brown, our Majority Whip, for whipping the women of council together around an issue that impacts us all. I am reminded during the Women's March, Councilwoman Parker and I were there, and we looked among the crowd, and we were very pleased to see more diversity among the women there. And that day, I resolved myself to say that I would spend the rest of the year speaking about women and how women need to be better allies to women. And if there's one issue where that is so important, it is on this issue around sexual harassment. And all of us who are wherever we are, whether it's the boardroom, the classroom, in uniform, we need to be particularly and intentional in our resolve to make sure that no woman in our presence is ever abused in any which way or berated in any which way. So I will spend the rest of the year asking other women and questioning and checking myself about what I'm doing to support other women. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I want to thank Councilwoman Blondell Reynolds Brown for all of her hard work on this issue, and really all of my colleagues and so many folks who have added to this issue and this conversation. And if you don't mind, Councilwoman, I just want to say we just had a conversation just a second ago, and I brought to light, made her aware of something that happened very close to home regarding sexual harassment. And so immediately when I said to her what the situation, she said, let's get it. Let's get on it. And so I want to thank you, if we can give her a round of applause, because she is tireless on this issue. And I just really cannot thank her enough, because this is a very sensitive issue. This is something that's very, very important. You know, I could give you a million stories in terms of things that I've heard, things that I've personally experienced, things that have been said and done that are inappropriate, you know, from a couple of weeks ago to many years ago. And so these are things that we're going to keep fighting against. Again, this is a training that Councilwoman Blondell Reynolds Brown has instituted that will now be the law of the land, and throughout the city of Philadelphia, all employees will be required to participate. And so we just really want to thank her. And as much as, you know, we're all fighters and we love a good fight, this is a fight that I think that we're looking forward to the day when we don't have to continue this one. Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. I too want to lend my voice to the chorus and saying a special thanks to our colleague, Councilwoman Blondell Reynolds Brown, for her leadership in bringing the women of council together to address this issue. Councilwoman Reynolds Brown, Councilwoman Sanchez just made me think of our former Secretary of State, Madeleine Albright, and her infamous quote that there is a special place in hell for women who don't use their power and influence to send the elevator back down to help other women come back up. Your leadership in bringing us together, Councilwoman Reynolds Brown, Councilwoman Sanchez, is right. women who do not have the ability to stand where we stand and sit where we sit now know that the rules of engagement regarding sexual harassment and sexual misconduct will be stated in a very clear manner, and no one will have the ability to get a foggy memory about what's acceptable and what is not acceptable. So I want to thank the women of council for coming together to support this issue. And thank you, Councilwoman Reynolds Brown, for not being a Johnny-come-lately. This is the newest fad regarding women's advancement that will get a round of applause, and so I need to do it. But you have a track record in doing everything that you can to close the gap and right wrongs associated with inequalities regarding women. And I want to say thank you for your leadership. You've been a role model for me.
Thank you very much. As one of the newer members on City Council, I can't tell you how much it meant to be able to join a council with such fierce, radical women here. It was such an honor to be inspired throughout my life here in Philadelphia by council members Blackwell and Reynolds Brown. As soon as I came onto council, was welcomed deeply, of course, by Councilwoman Quinones Sanchez Bass. Councilwoman Blackwell was just wonderful to me, sitting with me and talking me through, telling me, pick your priorities. Hard thing to do, to tell somebody. And of course, to be seen on any kind of council or leadership body with Cheryl Parker is a tremendous honor. But I deeply want to thank Councilwoman Reynolds Brown just for being a visible and vocal champion of women when women need it at this time. When there's a sexual predator in the White House, when sexual harassment is rampant, all through levels of our work, but let's be honest, especially in politics. It is a thing to stand up and declare that the women of this city will hold you accountable. We will do so in a generous and fair way, but boy, when you had your chances, that time is up. And I think that the councilwoman has done that in an incredible way. And my favorite quote, honestly, is Audre Lorde saying that I am not free while any woman is unfree, even when her shackles are so different from my own. And I think that that speaks so broadly to our capacity as women to understand and need to understand one another. Even our gender is changing. We're transforming the ideas of what it means to be a woman, who is a woman today. So we have to change, we have to broaden and expand with this council of fierce, radical leaders who are unafraid, unbossed, and gonna lead the way. I have no worries. I worry when I look out there, but when I look around me up here, people, we got it good. Thank you.
So in closing, let me say again that this was not a me thing, this was a we effort. I was on the phone repeatedly last summer speaking with my colleagues about how and why we needed to do this, and there was a consensus that was unspoken, that the time was ripe, R-I-P-E. During the hearings, we were thankful to have the support of the City Comptroller's Office with Rebecca Reinhardt offering testimony, the leadership at War offering testimony, and forgive me, your name is?
Eric Meyer.
Eric Meyer, who specializes and is a laser beam expert when it comes to sexual harassment. We're able to move this forward because it is a we effort, collective thinking, supported by the enlightened men of the Philadelphia City Council. And with that, we say thank you. This is another inch. We know success doesn't happen in leaps. It's incremental. Got to take it an inch at a time. With that, we say thank you very, very much.